Hello everyone and welcome to Scrap to Piece. My name is Lydia, also known as Illustrata, and welcome to the first crafting video of 2026. Recently, my husband and I went down to Texas and we got to go to the outlet stores that they have there. I understand this is not like an originally thrifted item, but we stopped by the Skechers store because I typically wear Skechers when I'm at work because they're good support. So we went with the intention of finding me some new tennis shoes for work, which we did. We found a good pair, but we also found a second pair because it was a buy one, get one, I believe 50% off. So on top of the tennis shoes I got these canvas style shoes with the intention of customizing them, because if you've been on this channel for any amount of time, you know that I love customizing things, whether it's adding my own embellishments to them or just painting them. Repainting things and giving things new life is just something that I love doing and have loved doing since I was little. I haven't really talked about on the channel at all, but back when I was in, I think it was when I was in high school, back when I was in late high school and in my early 20s, I loved getting like Keds from the thrift store and customizing them with either permanent markers or actually permanent markers were the primary thing that I would use to customize the shoes that I would find. At the time, I wanted to have a shoe customization business called Step in Time, and did that ever happen? No. I only made one pair of shoes. Well, granted, I didn't even sell them. I just made them as a product for a friend, and if I can find a picture of them, they're some of the most beautiful shoes because Beauty and the Beast had just come out, so I made them inspired by that and they just turned out so beautiful. Yeah, so yeah, in this case, we're kind of just delving back to my old self-roots kind of thing. So for this video, we are going to be customizing said shoes. I have a few ideas and we will see where we go from here. Okay, these are very, very basic shoes, very basic laces. One thing that I've been switching to with a lot of my shoes since upgrading to actually like regular tennis shoes versus wearing like Birkenstocks or whatever to work, I've been replacing the laces with elastic laces, which have been life-changing difference. Just making it easier for them to slip on. And I understand like these are from the outlets, so they're not like, oh my gosh, these are the best quality shoes I've ever seen kind of thing, but they're good quality regardless. So yeah, and honestly, compared to my other shoes that I got, these have a way softer sole. And they're also built wide, which I have wide feet, so it's sometimes hard to find proper shoes that'll actually fit. So let's get these unlaced. I'm actually not gonna do it on camera. Let's do a transition. 3, 2, 1. One of my ideas for customization is, I'll bet a bit generic and very predictable, but my idea is to add like paint drips around closer to the top, and then potentially like cel shading underneath, so like these kinds of shoes. So I'll probably base coat all of this with white mixed with some, do I have any fabric medium in here? I don't know if I have, but I know I have some downstairs, but I'm not going to go downstairs tonight. So see how much we get done tonight. Probably just the sketches to start off with. Okay, now we've got some acrylic paint mixed with fabric medium because I'm not about to just do straight paint onto these shoes as they're canvas. Alright, white base coat. Done. Now, honestly, so I can just get into the phase of painting, I'm just going to go for it and just start adding black. Okay, first trim, not too bad. Honestly, look like I'm painting a pair of like tap shoes or something. Okay, so I now have reached the part where I often reach in my projects where it just looks like absolute garbage. I know I can go further from here, but also it is all past 3 a.m. so I need to go to bed. But we have reached the point where I don't like how it looks, but you can only go up from here. Starting to go in with kind of a shading to give it a little more 3D effect. Okay, these are starting to look cartoonish already. I'm actually starting to like this now. Okay, I just had a new cool idea. So I've been really wanting to implement the pink because that's one of my favorite colors and it's my favorite paint. So my idea is to add it around the soles, around the edge, and then kind of just have it as like a highlight color where it's not like the main focus. I've also been kind of going back and forth because I still want to do like the drips around here. So I might either do black drips to make it look like ink, or I was thinking maybe pink drips or something like that. So we'll see. I might actually have to do a base pink color and then add this, so it actually, because it's a very opaque paint. Okay, these are actually looking really cool now. So after all of this work, I don't like the green, just being honest. It just kind of makes it seem like a lot is going on, and it doesn't seem like the green is very cohesive with all the rest of the colors. So I've been messaging my friends to see what they think. So I've had a few suggestions to switch this to potentially like a purple or a minty blue, so it can still blend with this. I'm probably going to weather the pink a bit more to make it look a bit more cohesive. But I'm either going to change this to like a pastel pink, or try the mint, or maybe even a pastel purple, because they were making some good assessments. Like, there is a lot going on these, and it's not exactly the stylization that I want to go for. So I think I'm going to try the pink first, maybe. Alright, so far the pink on the front is a huge improvement. I'll have to do probably 1 or 2 more coats on top of it. At this point, now I'm going to move on to this so this can dry fully so I can switch over. Let's move on to a light teal. Okay, that is looking better. Okay, that looks... So far, it looks good. Once I add in the shading, I think it'll look a lot better. It does look like a cooler contrast. Yeah, I think I'm gonna paint this, the pink, to match this, so it can kind of just blend together. Cool. I'm gonna do a little bit of matching this to these edges. I will feature my favorite color in any way that I can. Is this gonna work? I don't know. This might be a bad idea. I don't know. I'm liking this a lot. Okay, I can't work out too loud because Craig is sleeping. With this weathering, is perfect. Oh my gosh. I love this so much. I can't tell. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, now time to go in and add these white highlights, and then we can go about starting to add the black drips and see if it still fits the style, which I think it's still will. We'll have to see. Okay, these are looking sick so far. This is probably going to be a very meticulous painting. So in this case, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is a great stopping point for tonight, but it is way too late and I need to go to bed. So we'll clean our brushes and then hopefully come back either tomorrow night or the next night. We'll see. But these are looking so much better than how they did when I first sat down. So they kind of almost look like they're from Arcane. And then some of the last things that we'll have to do is just add the last black cel shading details and then potentially paint some eyeballs right here. 3, 2, 1. Now develop out these lines and looks pretty good. Hello and welcome to what I hope is the last day of this project. So essentially the last thing that I need to do is just go in with the cel shade marks, which honestly I think that's probably why it's taking me so long to do it, is because I'm just nervous to start. Then there's no going back. So, because they do look really, really cool. I'm very, very happy with them. And then, oh yeah, and then we have to do a base coat. I was gonna add an eyeball right here, but since the laces are going to be covering them, I don't think I'm going to do that. I just want to be done with this project. So, I'm stressed. Okay, I went a little bit overboard, but I added distressed lines on the soles and around all of the different detail areas. I'm not super skilled when it comes to cel shading to begin with, so I've made it like very subtle but still noticeable. They kind of look like strips that would just be like straight out of Arcane, which is pretty much the goal. I think I'm going to go in with more white highlights around the black lines, but I think these are nearly done. Now time to take my dragonfly glaze. I have a full spectrum shift sealant, so we'll just essentially just coat these with that. So the sealant is pretty much done. It does say that it needs 24 hours to cure. It faded a bit, so it's not as shiny as it was when it was still drying, but looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with them. But the new laces come in tomorrow, so we will fast forward to then. Alright everyone, I gave up with the laces. I ordered them. They were supposed to be here on Saturday, and then I got a notice that it was delayed until Sunday. And then I got another notice saying that, hey, it's probably going to be Tuesday when they get here. So I kind of gave up and I pulled the same laces that I have in one of my other pairs of shoes. So they're these, I can't remember the brand of them, but they're these elastic pink laces. I'm going to lace these up and we're going to call it a day. So glad to be done with these shoes. Then we can move on to the next project, which I'm pretty sure is going to be my headphones. So I'm just going to cut right to the reveal with the laces in them and everything, and then we'll come back and talk about how this project went. These turned out so good. I'm so happy with them. I'm very, very excited to test them out with wearing them to work and wearing them in other situations. My only concern is this, to see if it'll actually, if the paint will actually hold up. Yes, the undersides are not super clean, but I don't really care. So I definitely want to experiment more with cel shading and learning different techniques for the art style, because I think it looks really, really cool. So yeah, I hope you all had a good time watching. I hope this inspired you to make some cool pairs of shoes for yourself. We'll probably have more shoe related content in the near future, because I just got my first pair of Converse from my sister and a few other pairs of boots, so I hope to be able to customize more. So I hope you all have an artsy lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!